Vice President Mike Pence, great job you're doing, and hello, Toledo. We love Toledo. You remember, I was here a lot. You remember 2016, what a year that was, right? And 2020 is going to be even better, no doubt. But I'm thrilled to hold the first rally of 2020 right here in the great state of Ohio. And as we begin the new year, our economy is booming, wages are soaring, workers are thriving, and America's future has never, ever looked brighter. Never. We're the envy of every country in the world. We've created 7 million brand new jobs since our election. And we will soon be replacing the disaster known as NAFTA with the incredible brand new USMCA, the historic victory for Ohio farmers, workers, and manufacturers, but really a great victory for the United States. It's an incredible agreement. You remember I came and I'd always talk about how bad our trade deals are. We did a brand new one with Korea. So now we have South Korea. We just finished a big one, $40 billion with Japan. On January 15th, we're signing Monster, a big, beautiful monster, $40 to $50 billion to our farmer. Our farmers will be taken in. I keep saying, go buy larger tractors. Go buy larger tractors. I said, there's no way. I don't know if you know the story. My people wanted $20 billion of purchase, right? 20, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of corn. $20 billion. And I said, make it 50. China's very big. And they said, okay. They said, sir, the farmers can't produce that much. I said, let the farmers tell me that. Tell them to go out, remember, and buy a bigger what? Tractor. Buy a bigger tractor. You'll produce it. So $40 to $50 billion of agricultural product, and the manufacturers and the car companies, and we brought a lot of car companies into Ohio, you know that. A lot of them are coming in. A lot of them have already been brought in. They're coming in from Japan. They're coming in from all over the world. This is where they want to be. They want to be in the United States. That's where the action is. They're all coming back. I used to go around talk about how everyone's leaving. They were all leaving. A lot of you are victims of that leaving. These companies would leave. They'd go to Mexico. They'd go to Canada. They'd close up. They'd buy from China. Now they're all coming back. New ones, old ones, they're all coming back. And many are coming right here to Ohio. And just in case you didn't know it, Ohio just had the best year economically in the history of your state. That's not bad. That's not bad. And this year is going to be even better and maybe much better. But weeks ago, I signed the largest ever investment in the United States military, $738 billion. And we created the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces, the Space Force, and everybody's excited about that. After years and years of devastating defense cuts, we have fully rebuilt the United States military. Some of it still coming in. We have everything. We've got new planes. We've got new rockets, new missiles. We've got new everything. And it's either here or coming in. $2.5 trillion in new investments. Our military is now stronger and more powerful than ever before. And if you remember, 3 years ago when I took over, we were depleted. Our military was totally depleted. And by the way, speaking of our military, have we taken care of our vets with choice? Choice. With choice. That was a big thing. You know, I used to go around and the VA was a terrible situation. People would wait weeks. He's right. He said, yes, it was. You don't hear too much about that anymore. Do you notice? Choice and accountability. You know what accountability is? For 44 years, they tried to get accountability. That's somebody bad, works for the VA, you couldn't fire them. You couldn't fire them. They could be sadistic, they could be thieves, they could be whatever they were. You couldn't get rid of them. We got accountability approved, and now we say, you're fired, get out. We get somebody that's good. For years. And maybe most importantly of all is choice. VA, Veterans Choice. So now you wait online, and a lot of times you'd be waiting online for 4, 5, 6 weeks. You couldn't see a doctor. Now if you have to wait, you go out to a private doctor, you get yourself taken care of, we pay the bill. What a difference it's made. What a difference it's made. You know, when I was a little bit newer to this game, that's okay, they're gone. They're gone. They go home to mommy. Going home to mommy. They're going home to mommy. It's a beautiful sight. Thank you, security. Do we love law enforcement, by the way? So with the VA, I used to go around and say, why don't they do that? Why don't these people, why don't they go to a private doctor, work something out? And I thought it was a brilliant plan. I said, I'm telling you, I am such a smart guy. I said, this is the most brilliant thing ever. And I went back to my people and I said, you know, I have an idea. A veteran's sick, they can't get the kind of service they need, or they need a certain kind of a doctor. I have an idea, such a great idea. You're gonna go out private, you're gonna pick up a doctor, you're gonna get yourself fixed up, we're gonna pay the bill, right? And you know what happened? And I said, how brilliant is that? They say, sir, we've been working on that for 48 years, but we've never been able to get it approved. So I was very, very disillusioned, but you know what I'm good at? Getting things approved, and we got it approved. So we signed that 11 months ago, and what a difference that's made in terms of your lines and in terms of people's health. People would wait online for weeks, and some people weren't very sick, and they'd end up being terminally ill. They couldn't get to see a doctor. Now they go out, they get a doctor, we take care of them. We take care of our vets. So we're using this great power not to pursue conflict, but to really preserve, and I mean in the truest sense of the word, preserve peace. We have this tremendous military, and you know what that is? That's really a great fighting force, but I hope we never have to use it. I really do. You saw an example. You saw an example of that a couple of days ago. So we seek friends, not enemies, but if you dare to threaten our citizens, you do so at your own grave peril. We've never had a military. What we have now, we've never had anything like it. You know, we were looking at planes that were old and tired, 50, 60-year-old planes. You've heard the story. The grandfather flew them. The son flew them. The current wonderful person flew them. The whole family flew them. Those are all gone now, folks. Those are all gone. In October of last year, U.S. Special Operations Forces executed a daring nighttime raid that killed the bloodthirsty founder and leader of ISIS. The animal known as al-Baghdadi is dead. And the entire ISIS caliphate is destroyed, and his terrorist empire, and he was indeed a monster, has been totally demolished. We killed thousands and thousands of ISIS warriors, fighters, and we have thousands of them right now locked up where they should be. Nobody has ever done what we've done in 3 years. And I'll say this, when we took it over, it was a mess. We did it in a short period of time, but when we took it over, it was not good. And last week, the United States once again took the bold and decisive action to save American lives and deliver American justice. And you know what I'm talking about. For years, the sadistic mass murderer, Qasem Soleimani, planned and executed attacks against American targets, killing and wounding thousands of U.S. service members and many, many thousands and even hundreds of thousands of other people. As the leader of Iran's terrorist Quds Force, Soleimani spread death, destruction, and mayhem across the Middle East and far beyond. He ordered the violent assault on the American embassy in Baghdad, and you saw this was the anti-Benghazi. We got there very quickly. We got there very quickly. This is the exact opposite. We did it exactly the opposite of Benghazi, where they got there so late. All they saw when they got there days later were burning embers from days before. That's all they saw. We got there very early. We saw what was happening. I saw what was happening. I said, what's that all about? And that was going to be another Benghazi. Had they broken through the final panels of glass, they were breaking it. Had they gotten through, we would have had either hundreds of dead people or hundreds of hostages. That wasn't going to happen. And I called up our great generals. I said, get them over there now. And one of our leaders, one of our really admired people, said, sir, we'll have them there tomorrow. I said, nope, get in the planes right now, have them there immediately, and they got there immediately. Fortunately. But he directed the recent rocket strikes that wounded 4 American service members, badly wounded, and killed an American citizen. That was just before we happened to hit him. Soleimani was actively planning new attacks, and he was looking very seriously at our embassies, and not just the embassy in Baghdad, But we stopped him, and we stopped him quickly, and we stopped him cold. So at my direction, the United States military eliminated Qasem Soleimani and ended his rampage through not only that part of the world, but much bigger parts of the world. He was all over. He was a bad guy. He was a bloodthirsty terror, and he's no longer a terror. He's dead. And yet now I see the radical left Democrats have expressed outrage over the termination of this horrible terrorist. And you know, instead, they should be outraged by Soleimani's savage crimes and the fact that his countless victims were denied justice for so long. You know, he was the king of the roadside bomb. You know what the roadside bomb? And then they got bigger, and he'd send them over to Afghanistan and Iraq. And when you see our friends and our great wounded warriors and our great warriors, when you see them without their legs or without an arm and with so much damage, it's most likely that he caused that damage because that's what he liked. He loved planting the roadside bomb. So now he's gone, and that's a good thing. Bernie Sanders, crazy Bernie, has condemned the U.S. military strike on Soleimani, the world's top terrorist. Think of it, the world's top terrorist. And we're having people like Nancy Pelosi. Oh, it's a real genius. Do you believe that one? Nancy, nervous Nancy. But here's a guy who slaughtered and butchered civilians all over, and military, whoever was in his way. And we have Bernie and Nancy Pelosi, we have them all. They're all trying to say, how dare you take him out that way? You should get permission from Congress. You should come in and tell us what you want to do. You should come in and tell us so that we can call up the fake news that's back there and we can leak it. That's a lot of corruption back there, folks. No, but think seriously. So they want me, so you know, these are split-second decisions. You have to make a decision. So they don't want me to make that decision. They want me to call up, maybe go over there, let me go over to Congress, or come on over to the White House, let's talk about it. When can you make it? Well, I won't be able to make it today, sir. How about, let's say in a couple of days? Oh, sure, come on over. Now, we got a call. We heard where he was. We knew the way he was getting there. And we had to make a decision. We didn't have time to call up Nancy, who was not operating with a full deck. Now they want us to call, can you imagine calling crooked Adam Schiff? He's so crooked. He's so crooked. Shifty Schiff. Say, gee, Adam, how you doing? Listen, we have the world's #1 terrorist, killed thousands and thousands of people. We'd like to set up a meeting so we can discuss his execution. Would you be willing to meet? Well, I won't be able to make it this week. Well, you know, he's traveling fast. We got him lined up, Adam. You little pencil neck. "9 inches. He buys the smallest shirt collar you can get, and it's loose. Now, come on, Adam. We got to meet faster, Adam. We got him lined up. We got to take this guy out. We're not going to have another shot at him maybe ever again. But I can't make it now because I'm trying to impeach Trump. I'm trying to impeach him. Even though he did nothing wrong. By the way, did you see I did nothing wrong? They don't even know what the hell is going on. In fact, it's so weak, she doesn't want to put in the articles. It's so weak. They're so pathetic. They're so pathetic. So they want us to call them. Now, Schiff is a big leaker. You know, he leaks to crazy CNN. See with the little red light on over. Not too many people are watching CNN. But he leaks. So he'll say, you know, off the record, I got to hurry up because everyone's watching me in the hallway on my cell phone. Off the record, they've got the #1 terrorist in the world, Soleimani. And they're going to get him. They're going to take him out in the next 10 minutes. Please don't tell anybody I told you. So we have breaking news. President Trump, within the next 20, 25 minutes, looks to be taken out. Terrorist General Soleimani. He's going to do it. Should be happening about the next 20 minutes, 19, 18, 17. Then we get back to the battlefield. How'd you do, fellas? I don't know, sir. He disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. They want us to tell them so that they can leak it to their friends in the corrupt media. You got to say, though, that's a lot of media, right? That's the way the Academy Awards used to look when it was successful. Then they started hitting us all the time, and it became unsuccessful. I love it. I love it, actually. Oh, they have some bad ones here tonight. They have some really bad ones, some real sick ones. They have one good one, by the way. One good one. They have one good one, but some bad ones. Very, very dishonest people, and we have some great ones too. You know, we have some great journalists, great reporters, but you've got a tremendous number of dishonest media people like I have never seen in my life before. They write things that they know are wrong. They write, if you watch for the last 3 years, think of it, and then they get Pulitzer Prizes, but it turned out to be all wrong. How do you do that? They get Pulitzer Prizes for being wrong. The Pulitzer Prize doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean a thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you about the Nobel Peace Prize. I'll tell you about that. I made a deal. I saved a country. And I just heard that the head of that country is now getting the Nobel Peace Prize for saving the country. I said, did I have something to do with it? Yeah. But you know, that's the way it is. As long as we know, that's all that matters, okay? That's all that matters. I saved a big war, saved a couple of them. But under my administration, we will never make excuses for America's enemies. We will never hesitate in defending American lives. And we will never stop working to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. Never. And nobody's done it like we've done it. And it's we. It's we. It's not me. It's we. It's a whole movement. There has, by the way, never been a movement like this. You know, outside, I don't know what this place holds, like 10, 11,000 people, right? Outside, you have thousands and thousands of people that want to get in. There's never been a movement like this. There's never been a movement like this. And I'll tell you, maybe I'm wrong, but this is bigger than it was in 2016 because in 2016 I said what we're going to do, but now I've completed more promises than I've made. I mean, I've actually completed more than I made. Right? Like, as an example, many of you were here. Look at all those beautiful red hats. Keep America great. That's good. But I never talked about, did you ever hear me prior to the election talk about Space Force? Never talked about it. We did Space Force. But did we ever speak about it? No. There were many things that we've done that we never spoke about, right? Right to try. You know about right to try, right? They've been trying to get it for 44 years. Right to try. That's people that are very sick, terminally ill, and they can't get medicine that possibly works, and very well. We have the greatest labs, the greatest doctors in the world, greatest scientists in the world. We have the greatest medicines in the world. If they have something that they're pretty sure is going to work, but it's going to take another 6 years, I brought those times way back, by the way, way down. But they would travel to Asia, they would travel to Europe, they would travel all over the world to try and get a cure, because we wouldn't sell them the medicine, because we didn't want to take a chance on making the people sick. I said, wait a minute, they're going to die. They're going to die. Well, sir, we can't take the liability. I said, then we'll drop a statement assessing all liability, taking all liability away from the country, away from the insurance companies, away from the healthcare companies, away from the doctors. And with the great help of a lot of incredible Republicans, and we had some Democrats help us, we passed right to try. And you have to see how this has worked. Many people are being saved. And you know, the drug companies didn't like it because they didn't want to take people that sick, because they didn't want it on their charts. I said, I understand that we won't include that. We'll have a separate list over here. They said, oh, would you do that? I said, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. But I didn't talk about right to try. I never said I was going to get that done, and we got it done. That was a tough one to get done. Sounds simple, it was tough. There's nothing easy in this country. You know, they said to me, a friend of mine the other day, who's the toughest country to deal with, President? He used to call me Donald. I've known this guy for a long time. I like to say 20 years, but it's much more than that. I just don't want to tell you how long. It's too long. And I say, call me Donald. You've always called me Donald. I can't. He calls me Mr. President. I've known this guy forever. He used to call me, hey, Don, let's go out to dinner. You know, before he'd go, hey, let's go out to dinner. Now he goes, Mr. President, sir, how are you? Right? How are you? But what we've done, and he called me, he said, what you've done, he's never seen anything like it. So many people are saying that. We are all together doing something, not only in terms of the election, not only in terms of what we're doing right now. Don't forget, it's a long way to the election. You know, we have, what, 10 months? That's a long way. This is my first stop of the year, first major stop of the year. This is it. And we start. By the way, let's do one of those polls right now. Do you mind? But is there anything more fun than a Trump rally? Here we are. Is there anything more? Ready? So we have the greatest phrase of all time, make America great again. And in all due respect, I'll never end. I'm a little superstitious. I'll never end it. Make America great again. But I see all those hats. I see all those hats changing it a little bit. But make America great again. And I said, you know, today we just hit the highest stock price in the history of our country. So your 401ks, are at records. Your stocks are great. But what it really means to me is jobs, more importantly than anything else. We have the best jobs, the best everything, right? But we just hit. So I can't really say, make America great again. Our military is rebuilt, $2.5 trillion. Our military is rebuilt. We're doing great numbers. Economically, our country's the strongest it's ever been. You have factories moving back into Ohio. You never saw anything like it, right? You had your best year. So when I say make America great again, what that sort of means is like, we didn't get there, but we did get there. So now I have a new theme. It's called Keep America Great. Keep America Great. Right? Now, I'm a very loyal person, and I am concerned about changing the theme, because Make America Great Again, I think it was the greatest political campaign in history. I mean, crooked Hillary spent 3 or 4 times more money than us, right? So crooked Hillary, you should lock her up, I'll tell you. Crooked Hillary spent 3 or 4 times more. So I want to be a little bit, I have to say, that was a great campaign. And I don't want to change it. I don't want to have this incredible 2016, then go with something, and if something ever happened, oh, this country will go to hell. Oh, I hate to see. You know the stocks I'm talking about, records? You'll have records this way. You're going to have records. Get used to it, because if that happened, you will see things happen that aren't good. But I have to now say, do I want to change the greatest theme in political history, Make America Great Again, with Keep America Great, right? So let's take a little applause, right? We'll go, Make America Great Again, you clap if you want that. Then we go, Keep America Great, you clap if you like that. Okay, you ready? First, Make America Great Again. Ready? Keep America Great. So you know that, I call that a free poll. That's better than a poll. Do you ever see these crazy polls? They come out. We're doing great in the polls, by the way. Remember I used to come out and talk about the polls? We'll start doing that very soon. We're doing great in the polls. But this is like a free poll. Somebody else would go out, they have all this money that they raised, and they give somebody $1 million, and they'll ask 200 people that question. And then they'll say, well, Make America Great Again is better. But I will tell you, I haven't heard one thing where that was true. With all of these, I would have said instinctively, Make America Great Again could not be beaten. I've probably done this 10 times. I have never had it win. It's Keep America Great, and that's what we're doing. But we're going to use both. We're going to use both. We're going to use both. Because there's no way that I'm going to jettison Make America Great Again, right? There's no way. We're going to use both, but this hat is a hot seller. We're selling that hat like nobody's ever sold a hat before, I will say. So it's great. Good. Keep America Great. So we're going to use both, but Keep America Great. That's probably going to be the dominant theme. For 8 years, the Obama administration enabled and emboldened the Iranian regime. They gave Iran $150 billion, including $1.7 billion in hard, cold cash. Can you imagine? No, can you imagine? $1.7, $1.8 billion in cash. So the foolish Iran nuclear deal financed Iranian aggression while allowing a quick path to nuclear breakout. That's what it did. And by the way, it expires so soon. They can have nuclear weapons. They're not, as I said before, they will not have nuclear weapons. By subsidizing Iran's malign conduct, the last administration was leading the world down the path of war. We are restoring our world to the path of peace. Peace through strike. Peace through strike. And our country's doing great, and I think something's going to happen that's going to be good. You know, we sanctioned the hell out of Iran, and we just put more out of it yesterday. And they hit us with 16 missiles. And I said, how many? We were ready to go. We were ready to go. I said, how many? How many died? How many were wounded? Sir, none. None. Pretty good warning system. None. How many were hurt? None, sir. So we didn't do anything. We were ready. We were ready. Not that I wanted to, but we were ready. You have no idea. A lot of people got very lucky. We're thrilled to be joined tonight by many great Republican leaders. A man who's helped me right from the beginning, a very special guy, Representative Bill Johnson. Bill, where's Bill? Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Great job. Great job. And his fellow friends, Jim Jordan, do we like Jim? We have a lot of your congressmen are right now in Congress. They said, sir, should we come with you? I said, nope, stay back and vote. They're voting on some pretty important stuff, right? But we were able to get Bill. We thank you, Bill, very much. Great job. Great warrior. Thank you, Bill. Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Great job. State Treasurer Robert Sprague. Thank you, Robert. And you have a lot more money in the bank right now, Robert, as treasurer, right, than you ever did. Ohio Supreme Court Justice Judy French. Thank you, Judy. Great job. State Senate President, a man highly respected, Larry Obhoff. Thank you, Larry. And a woman who really has become a great friend of mine. She took over this party. We fought like hell. We had some other people that had their mind on taking over the party, but they never had a chance against Jane Timken. Jane. And the man who was in charge of my campaign in Ohio, I had a choice of 5 people. I said, I like this guy's name. I don't know why. His name is Bob Paduchek. Why do I like his name? And I said, Bob, how are we doing? He said, you're going to win big, sir. Because, you know, you keep hearing, you cannot win unless you win the great state of Ohio. That's these guys. And once I was leading Ohio by a lot in the poll, they never said that anymore. It's terrible. They were saying it when they thought I wasn't going to win, but we were ahead right from the beginning. But Bob was incredible. He did a fantastic job. And Bob, I'd call him up. I'd say, Bob, we don't have the governor. We don't have the head of the Republican Party. You know, it's a minor problem. You're running as a Republican. And he punked out on us, right? This guy. We don't have any. He said, sir, you have the people. I said, well, what happens? Cool. He was cool. I said, so Bob, let me ask you just out of curiosity. I don't have these people. The leaders are not with us. Is that good or bad? He said, sir, it's great. You just went up 3 points. You believe this? By not having. And he said, don't worry, sir, you're going to win. And we won by a lot. And now I understand we're up by a lot more than we ever thought possible. But Bob was fantastic. Thank you, Bob. And thanks to Republican leadership, we're up. Can you believe this? I have a 95% approval rating. Can you believe it? And you know who second is? We do. You know who second is? Ronald Reagan at 87%. Ronald Reagan's good. And then one of these characters back there, they put me in a contest with the late, great Abraham Lincoln, right? So who do you like better, Trump or Abraham Lincoln? I said, Abraham Lincoln. So I said, who do you like better? They say they did a poll on this. I think I remember the numbers. All I know is we won against Abraham, Honest Abe. We won. 53 to 47. You believe that? Abraham Lincoln. I went back to the First Lady. I said, First Lady, I just beat Abraham Lincoln in a poll. I don't know if they had polls back there. But Abraham Lincoln, I always say I can be more presidential than any candidate that ever ran, than any president. other than maybe Abraham Lincoln when he's wearing his hat. But I like Abe Lincoln, but we're doing well. We have a lot of support. You know why? Because our country is doing so well. Our country is doing so well. And when we went out, we started and we went right to the top of the polls. It wasn't like these folks today. They're 2%, 3%, but they're climbing. We went right to the top from day one. We never missed center stage in the debates. Remember those great debates? We actually got high ratings. They don't get very good ratings anymore. They're like, it's like death. Watching, I should watch. You know, I'm supposed to watch. It's like my job. Try and watch. Watch the competition. But it's like watching death. It's death. Those debates are boring. They're boring. You got to sit through those things for 2 or 3 hours. You got to really be committed to the country to do that. I mean, you have some real beauties. You see what Pocahontas is slipping badly? And Bernie is going up. He's surging. Bernie is crazy, Bernie. He's surging. And Biden doesn't know the difference between Iran and Iraq. He's gotten it wrong 4 times. He goes, when we took our shot at Iraq. No, no, no. They're all saying, no, no, they're screaming. It's Iran, Iran. What? What? And his son, right? Where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? No, I went to one of them. I said, we have to have Where's Hunter as a witness. They said, what do you mean, Where's Hunter? I said, that's his first name. I have now made his first name Where's. Where's Hunter? Here's a guy, made no money, got thrown out of the military forces, I think the Navy, got thrown out, had no job, had no nothing. So he went from that to making millions of dollars a year as soon as Sleepy Joe became vice president, right? He made millions of dollars a year. Would anybody in this room do that for millions of dollars? I would. We all would. He made millions and millions of dollars a year. Ukraine took care of him. How about China? He walked out with $1.5 billion to manage, and he never did it before. He didn't know anything about oil and gas. He was making a fortune. So where's Hunter? Where the hell are you, Hunter? But I'll tell you, I sort of hope it's Joe, because he will hear Where's Hunter every single debate 9 times a debate. Where's Hunter? And then you have Buttigieg. 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 I can't, nobody can pronounce, nobody has any idea how the hell to say his name. So what they do is they call him Mayor Pete, you know? You know, like, Mayor Pete. Here comes Mayor Pete. Doesn't do a very good job. Alfred E. Newman, you're right. Howdy doody, some people say. Howdy doody. Howdy doody. The problem is a lot of people don't remember Alfred E. Newman. Don't say that. You look much younger than that, I must say. So, you have Mayor Pete. I mean, give me a break. Can you believe Mayor Pete? This is going to be the President of the United States. This is going to be. How would he be against negotiating against President Xi of China? And we just made one hell of a deal. Oh, you're going to see the numbers very soon, you know? One hell of a deal. They didn't like those tariffs. Thanks to Republican leadership, America is winning again, and America, most importantly, is respected again. Respected like never before. And you know, for years, NATO has taken advantage of the United States. We protect Europe from Russia. And the numbers have been going down for many, many years, 15 years, 18 years. The numbers are like a roller coaster down. And I went over and I said, fellas, you got to pay your bills. You're delinquent. You know, you're delinquent. And then they don't like me. They say, we like Obama better. They should like Obama better. Obama would go in and say, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. I'm going back to Washington. I'm going back. I'll be violating the carbon footprint
I'm going to Hawaii to play golf. I drive to play a round of golf, and of course I own. It doesn't even cost them anything. He flies to Hawaii, nobody cares. If I drive 20 minutes, it's like Donald Trump is playing golf today. He violates the carbon footprint. But just think of it. Think of where we've come. Think of where we've come. A great congressman from Tennessee, it's a great state. They have early voting, very early voting, probably the earliest. And he said, I don't know, I just left Tennessee. This was in November. This was the election, 2016. He said, I just left this incredible state of mine. I love that state. Sir, we've seen lines of people that didn't vote before because they never were inspired to vote. And these are people that never voted. And they had hats on Trump. They have pins on Trump, Trump, Trump pants, Trump. They have the bands on, you know, like a Miss Universe, boom, it says Trump Pence, and they've got buttons all over it. They've got shirts saying Trump and Trump Pence. I never saw anything like it. If every state is like Tennessee, sir, I hate to tell you, you're going to have one hell of a victory, and that's what happened, right? That's what happened. And you did it. You did it, and I think we're going to have bigger numbers, even bigger numbers, because I'll tell you what, we're a long way from the election. I think the crowds today are bigger than they were the day before the election last time. I really do. You know, Elizabeth Warren, sadly referred to, she of great Indian heritage. Remember, I used to say, I have more Indian blood in me than she has, and I have none. I turned out to be right. But you look at what she's doing, you look at what she's saying, the lies, the deceit, the fraud. You see it all. We are going to do so great. It's going to be something that's going to be special. It's going to be for the record books. The evangelicals called some of the greatest pastors, ministers, preachers. And they just called today 5 of the most respected people. And they said things that were incredible. They said there's never been anything like this in the church that they can some of them have been doing it for 30, 40 years. They said we have never seen enthusiasm like we see for this president and for this presidency, all of us, like we have right now. And the great Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son, Franklin Graham, a fantastic man, he said 2 weeks ago, my father, Billy Graham, voted for Donald Trump. Nobody he never said that before. Billy Graham wasn't somebody that would vote and say he voted. Franklin Graham said, Billy Graham may be the greatest of all, maybe the greatest of all time. He said, my father, Billy Graham, who was very old at the time and in trouble, he was in trouble, he was not well, he voted for Donald Trump. What a great tribute that was to me. What a great tribute. Great family. Unemployment has reached the lowest level in over 51 years. African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment have all reached the lowest rates ever recorded. Wages are rising fast. They're going up very fast. And the biggest percentage increase, makes me happy, are for blue-collar workers. 40 million, think of this, 40 million American families are now benefiting from the Republican child tax credit, each receiving an average of over $2,200 a year. Now, America lost, this is hard to believe, because if you think, how could it possibly be true? But this is what happened. Probably it's the reason, number one reason I'm running. America lost 60,000 factories under the previous administration. 60,000. You wouldn't believe that's possible, but I know it's true because I've said it 50 times, and the fakers back there, they've never corrected me. No, it's true. No, it's true. If I was slightly off, if I was off by 2 factories, there'd be a headline, Donald Trump told a fib. Donald Trump gets to be a Pinocchio again. No, think of it. 60,000 factories, plants and factories closed. They went to Mexico. They went to China. The 60,000, it's not even, take a look at a map and put 60,000 little tacks. I mean, you wouldn't believe it could be that many, but it is. It's 60,000 closed, gone. They're all coming back. They're all coming back. And right now, just in a very short period of time, we've added 12,000 brand new factories, and many more are coming in. And one of the reasons they're coming in is we've eliminated a record number of job-killing regulations, saving the average American household $3,000 a year, and total income gains for median households will reach over, ready, $10,000 a family. $10,000. Now, under the Bush administration, the $10,000, that includes what we've done in terms of medium income. I'm adding in there the tax cuts, which are tremendous, $2,400. And I'm adding regulation cuts. I'm adding the whole package, over $10,000. Now, under President Bush, it was $450. Under Barack Hussein Obama, it was $975. Under President Donald J. Trump, it's $10,000 in 3 years. 2 years. Right? In 3 years. Don't forget. President Bush, 8 years, $450. President Obama, 8 years, $975. President Trump, 3 years, not even, but 3 years, $10,000. And we're going up. We ended the last administration's war on American energy, and we ended the war on clean, beautiful coal. It's being shipped to Vietnam. It's being shipped all over the world. While every Democrat running for president wants to shut down our coal mines, we are putting our miners back to work. Dig we must. Dig we must. Clean coal. What they do with coal today is incredible. Clean coal. And with the help of energy workers right here in Ohio, the United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world by far. #1. We weren't #1. Every top Democrat candidate has pledged to eliminate American production of oil and natural gas. How does that work, by the way? You know, there's a state known as Texas. And I won Texas by a lot, just like I won Ohio by a lot. How would you like to go into Texas and say, by the way, we don't want your oil or natural gas anymore? How about Beto? Remember he said, I was born to be president. Anybody that says that, I said, that's the end of his career. Remember he had the cover of the magazine, I won't mention the magazine, Sleazebag magazine. He was born to be president, and right after that, he came tumbling down. But he's from Texas, so he was against religion, he was against oil, and he was against guns. Abraham Lincoln could not win in Texas with that platform. That's not a good platform. It's not a good platform, but you have people that want to shut down the oil industry. And if you do that, you're going to shut down half of your businesses, really more than that. And the rest of them are not going to be able to pay because the cost of this energy would be so expensive. So we have all forms of energy. We have every form of energy, and we are doing great. But they want to cripple your state's economy. But the voters of Ohio will never let that happen. Never going to let it happen. And our air and our water right now is cleaner than it's been in 40 years. And sadly, I can't say historic because, a couple of hundred years ago, there was nobody here, right? So I assume that 200-300 years ago it was cleaner, probably. You never know. But our water and our air is as clean as it's ever been. And I took us out of that horrible Paris Accord. I always say, how you doing with the Paris Accord? Don't ask. Saved trillions and trillions of dollars. That was put in there to hurt us, in my opinion. It was put in there to hurt us. We were paying money to India. We were paying money to China. China's didn't kick in until 2030. We kicked in immediately. We had to pay money. Russia kicked in let's see, they kicked in before. They were 1996. That was a very dirty period of air. So they didn't have, we kick in now, and it's just unacceptable. We would have spent trillions and trillions of dollars. We would have had to close up, I think, at least 25 to 30% of our businesses. Who the hell would make a deal like that, right? Who would make a deal like that? No, how unfair. You look at Russia, you look at China, you look at India, they all got these massive breaks. We got no breaks, and we're paying money. And I say sometimes to France, how are the yellow vests working out? Because they don't like raising their taxes and sending the money to faraway places that they never heard of. So we are in good shape. It took a certain amount of courage to do that. I said, I'm going to get killed on this one. And you know what? I did it, and I was applauded because the people get it. The people know what we're doing, and they're tired of being ripped off by the rest of the world. They're tired of being ripped off by the rest of the world. For decades, career politicians promised to defend the workers of Ohio, and then they went to Washington and voted for the same globalist policies that devastated your communities and chipped away your jobs. You know that better than anybody. Ohio knows that. But the betrayal of Ohio workers and U.S. workers ended the day I took the oath of office, and you see that because you're setting records. I immediately canceled the Obama administration's job-killing catastrophe, which would have dealt a death blow to the United States auto industry, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It was a disaster. That was going to be worse than NAFTA. NAFTA, I always say the worst deal. I think that would have been worse. It would have taken the car industry. It would have taken many of your industries. That was a setup for the United States to get fleeced. The USMCA will save the American auto industry and create over 100,000 new auto jobs, and our factories will not be closing and moving to other faraway lands. We'll keep them right here if that's okay. And that's going to include, because we take care of our great auto workers of Toledo, the home of Jeep. How good is Jeep? And I've taken the toughest ever action against China's chronic trade abuses, including tariffs on $370 billion worth of Chinese-made goods, bringing billions and billions of dollars into our treasury. And I gave some of that money because they were targeted to our farmers, and our farmers did just fine. And now the deal is done, and the other deals are done, and the farmers are doing very well. We love our farmers. And they never complain. They never complained. You know, when they'd go, the fake news back there, they'd go and they'd talk to the farmers. What do you think of President Trump? China is deciding not to buy anymore. And this, he said, you know what the farmers would say? We're going to have to suffer for a while because China and these other nations have been ripping us off for years. The president is right, and we're with the president. How great are they? How great are they? But our strong action paid off, and we'll sign that terrific and fully enforceable Phase 1 trade deal with China. And again, we're keeping the tariffs on because we'll use that for another one. We are taking billions. Remember what I said? We're not paying for it. because China devalued their currency, and they put a lot of money into the pot. We're not paying for it. And now they're starting to say, I guess he was right. And our trade deficit, as a result, has really come substantially down. It was just in the papers today. The trade deficit has come down. As a result of our actions, steel mills all across Ohio, you know this better than I do, are roaring back to life. JSW Steel is investing $500 million in Mingo Junction. Republic Steel is reopening the Lorraine Mill that they idled in 2016. Charter Steel is building a $150 million mill in Cuyahoga Heights, and Nucor is investing $85 million at a facility in Marion, Ohio. Think of that. Think of that. The steel industry was dead, and now it's vibrant. All told, American steel companies are currently making $13 billion worth of new investments all across our nation. Think of that. They weren't investing 10 cents. The industry was dead. Now it's vibrant. After years of rebuilding other nations, we are finally rebuilding our nation. We are finally putting America first. But while we are creating jobs and killing terrorists, the Washington Democrats are wasting America's time with demented hoaxes and crazy witch hunts. Think of it. From the day I came down that escalator, it started. Who the hell else could have taken this stuff, right? Do I get some credit for that? Most guys would have been in a corner with their thumb in their mouth, saying, Mommy, Mommy, take me home. These are bad people. The Democrat politicians we're fighting today are the same ones who took a sledgehammer to Ohio jobs and factories. They destroyed your factories, they destroyed your jobs. But they're losing, and we're winning, and America's comeback continues full speed ahead. On no issue have Democrat politicians more thoroughly betrayed the American people than the issue of illegal immigration. Far-left radical politicians support deadly sanctuary cities, demonstrating their contempt, scorn, and disdain for everyday Americans and the American family. These jurisdictions release dangerous, violent criminal aliens out of their jails and directly onto your streets, where they are free to rob, attack, and kill American citizens. But we stop it. They want open borders, can you believe it? And because of Democrats' open border policies, they want open borders. They want people flowing. Come on in. Come on in. Innocent Americans are being brutalized and murdered by illegal alien criminals. As just one example, right here in Ohio, you all know about it. An illegal alien went on a deadly crime spree, attempting to rape a 14-year-old girl, then raping and murdering a 60-year-old woman, shooting another woman who took a shortcut through the park and was walking with her children. And finally, the police came. We love our police. And they were able to apprehend this terrible criminal. Thanks to Democrat policies, MS-13 gang members, they're the worst, were allowed to infiltrate the country. You know, I called them animals, and Nancy Pelosi said, they're not animals, they're human beings. Take a look at what's happening to her district. Her district is one of the most disgusting, dirtiest. It used to be one of the best in the country. Now it's a disgrace what's happened. Drug needles all over the place, the homeless that they're not taking care of, tents down major thoroughfares. What happened to San Francisco, and in particular, her district, as she lives in this beautiful house. But they terrorize our citizens, including killing their victims with machetes, MS-13. They kill them with machetes. You know why? Because it's more painful than using a gun. Federal authorities recently discovered and rounded up more than 20 vile MS-13 gang members in central Ohio, and they will be sent to jail or frankly, if they hold them, I don't know that they hold them, they're going to be sent the hell back home. Last year alone, ICE officers, who, by the way, are heroes. These are brave people. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Let's see, you could do it. You could do it over there. You could do it. Most of you want to. I mean, I've seen it. They have these people, they're like killers, and our guys are here, and they run. They call them nests. You have nests. And they run and they're swinging and punch. I say, what the hell kind of a job is that? That's what they do. They're tough people. They're great patriots. Who the hell wants to do it? They're incredible. ICE. And they get scorned. And we take out thousands and thousands of MS-13 members every single year. They throw them into the back of a van, and we get them the hell out of our country. But ICE officers worked with Ohio police to remove 1,200 dangerous criminal aliens from your street. And, you know, all your streets, you see the difference now between what it is now? Do we have a problem over there? Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. Good. Thank you. Great job. Thank you. Don't forget, these people here, unlike you up there, these people have been waiting for 3 days. So they're going to be, I don't know. You know what? If I had to wait 3 days, I think I like your seat better. Okay? I like your seat better. But Democrats stand for crime, corruption, and chaos. Republicans stand for law, order, and justice. That's really the way it is. We side with law enforcement, with law-abiding Americans, not law-breaking criminal aliens. We are removing these illegal criminals and gang members from our country by the thousands. We are sending them home, and we will not let them back in. And I have to tell you, a lot of things are happening. You're going to hear about it in 2 seconds. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, illegal crossings are down 75% since May. We have ended catch and release. Catch and release. You know what catch and release is? We catch them. We take down their name and we release them. What kind of crap is that? These are the policies that we inherited. You catch somebody, you take their name, say, please come back in 3 years, right? And we release them into our country. And if you don't do that, everybody gets sued. Can you believe this? We have ended catch and release. The other one, beauty. How about the lottery? It's called Visa Lottery. How about this? They put their hand. These people are going to America. Boom. And I will not use names because I'll be accused of something if I do. But from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, we have, he's goes, only in Ohio could that happen. Who is the man that did that, bro? Who is that guy? So anyway, but in Honduras and Guatemala, they have, like, this lottery. Now, the people, I've gotten to know the government officials, they're good. We made some good things. They agreed to take our people back, you know, their people back. They wouldn't take them back. They'd send them here, they'd go into our country, we'd bring them back under past administrations, and then after that, they'd say, we're not taking them back. We're not taking them back. Take them the hell out of here. We're not letting you land your plane. So we have a government flying a plane all trying to get a couple of prisoners, bad people back. Now they take them back. You know why? Because I said, look, if you don't take them back, we're going to put tariffs on every single thing that you sell. Now they say, we would love to take them back. We would love to take them back. We'll take them back gladly, sir. No, they couldn't get them back. We'd take over these absolute thugs, these gang members, and we'd bring them back, and they wouldn't accept them. We couldn't land the plane. We couldn't get anything through the border. It comes through the border this way, but not that way. But now they take it back. They've been great, actually. They've been really good. Now, we paid them a lot of money. We paid them $500 million a year. Can you believe we paid them $500 million, the three of them, El Salvador included. And I said, look, we're not going to pay you any money anymore because you're not treating us right. And they've been great. They've been great. They take them back. How many would you like us to take? We'll take as many as you want. And here's the big thing. Ready? You read it today in the newspapers. In the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, we won the big, big, beautiful lawsuit where they were all suing us. The wall is being built. We've built already a tremendous amount, but we're releasing $4 billion of military construction funds to build the biggest section of the wall. It's literally being signed now. It'll be under construction very shortly, in a couple of weeks. And we've already built over 100 miles of wall. How about that? 100 miles. And by the end of next year, we're going to have a lot of the wall built, and it's already having a big impact. How about the Democrats? Walls don't work. We want technology. I said, what are you going to do? They want drones. Oh, good. When people are rushing the caravans, when they're rushing, having a drone flying around is not going to help you too much, okay? Nothing like this. Well, you know, 5 years ago, the Democrats all wanted the wall. They just could never get it built. They didn't know how the hell to build it. I do. So we built 100 miles. I think probably more than that now. We have a lot under contract, but we won our big case. I woke up. They said, sir, we have good news. They overturned a horrible decision from the lower court. You can now fund the rest of the wall. I said, thank you very much. Thank you. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. But they want to have open borders. They want to have sanctuary cities. The radical Democrats have never been more extreme than they are right now. They are stone cold crazy. You know, it's interesting, as I'm saying this stuff, you know, they want crime, they want chaos. I'm saying all this stuff, and then I say, gee, now I sort of understand why they hate me, right? But it's true, it's true. Their policies are a disaster. They're bad politicians, and they have horrible policies. But what they do, they stick together, and they're vicious. They're vicious, horrible people. I didn't used to say that. They're horrible people. What they do to people is a disgrace, but they stick together. Now, the Republicans, thank you very much, the Republicans, my man, the Republicans, we were 196-0 in the House, and I have a feeling the Senate's going to be great also. 196-0, and we took in 3 Democrats. And Congressman Van Drew left their party and joined our party. So we've done things that nobody's ever done before. But the Democrats are taking their cues from socialists, Bernie Sanders and that group. Omar, AOC. Tlaib, isn't she a nice woman? Tlaib. Tlaib. Why? What a group. But they're the leaders of the party. They're really, in my opinion, the leaders. That's what happened. That's how they got into this impeachment hoax. The leaders of the party are this AOC, Tlaib, and Omar. And Pelosi meets them and she shakes and quivers and she's very scared. But you know who the leader of your party is? All of you. You're the leader of your party. But the Democrats are pushing a socialist takeover of health care that would strip 180 million Americans of their private insurance plans and massively raise taxes on the middle class. A lot of you have private insurance plans that you love. They're going to take them away from you. But see, I don't like doing this too soon. I did it with Pocahontas. I came up with this great name. I came up with a lot of different stuff. I said she was a total fraud, and everybody believed me, and she went down. Then she started coming out, then she went down. It doesn't help me to do it a year and a half before the election. That's why, like with the Green New Deal, okay, I want to say, great things about it, okay? I don't want to knock it and then they say, we're not going to use that. I like it when they say, no longer can you fly airplanes, no longer can you have any cows in the pasture, right? No longer can we do anything. We can't do anything anymore. No, the Green New Deal, I love it. I think it's great. It should be debated. It should be debated. So what we're going to do, very seriously, we're going to not talk badly about them. We're going to say, the Greens, they asked me about it the other day. A gentleman just asked me about it backstage. I said, no, it's something that has to be considered. Then about 2 weeks before the election, I'll let you know the facts. Because this doesn't matter. We're too far ahead of the election. The Green New Deal, that's a beauty. You know, it's amazing, though. I see this congressman that's been there. He has white hair, beautiful white hair. Nope, it's not you. And he's with AOC. And he's saying, yes, we have to go with the Green New Deal. And I'm saying, is this guy for real? I don't know if he believes it. He's been around for 20 years in Congress. I've seen him. I know him a little bit. And he's acting like he actually believes it. But we're going to just take our time and we're going to relax. And about 3, 4, you're going to join some rallies about a month before. You're going to hear the real facts. But I'm tired of talking them out of things 10 months before the election. Bernie Sanders' health care plan would cost over $32 trillion a year. That's more money than we make in 5 years. That's more money than we'll ever make. He is indeed crazy. No, he's... Oh, let me take that back. No, it's a great plan that we have to consider strongly. We have to consider his plan strongly. Now, see, I'll tell you what the fake news will do. They'll take my last words. It's a great plan. We have to consider it strongly. They'll cut everything out in the front, and they'll say, Donald Trump is in favor of Bernie Sanders' Green New Deal. They can do more with the tape than they can do with a newspaper. No, they'll do that. You'll see it somewhere. You'll see it. Trump supports his plan. They are sick. Republicans will defend middle-class taxpayers and the right to keep the doctor of your choice. We will protect patients with pre-existing conditions, and we will protect your pre-existing physician. You'll have your physician. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb, right up until the moment of birth. That is why I've asked Congress to prohibit late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Radical Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, and blatant corruption. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, and the party of the American dream. We still have that American dream. As of today, we've appointed 187 federal judges to interpret the Constitution as written. Think of that. And 2 great Supreme Court judges. Think of that, 187 federal and Court of Appeals judges. Think of that. Thank you, President Obama. He gave us 142 judges. Thank you. Thank you very much, President Obama. We have a record. It's a record, and we will appoint many more. But first day, I had 142 judges. 142. I said, how many do we have? Sir, you have 142. I said, you got to be kidding. I thought it'd say maybe none, maybe 1, but certainly no more than 1. They're like gold. They said, no, sir, you have 142. I said, you got to be kidding. How did this happen? President Obama did not get it done. And by the way, Mitch helped a lot, too, I have to tell you. Mitch helped a lot. He helped a lot. Wasn't so easy. Mitch McConnell. We're aggressively combating the opioid epidemic, and it's bad. In 2018, drug overdose deaths in Ohio fell by, listen to this, 22%. It's not good enough, but 22. Opioid. And as we continue rebuilding our military, we have restarted the legendary Army tank factory in Lima. And we've authorized 441 new Stryker fighting combat vehicles and 453 new Abrams tanks to be built in the Buckeye State. That's a lot of tanks. So wait, just a quick story then. Okay, I'm proud of this. So they have this Army tank plant, right, in Lima. And I said, what's going on? They're closing it. And he said, oh, they are? Well, you know, they're closing everything. When I came in, they wanted to close everything. So I was president-elect, I think, right around that time. And I went to Lima. I went through the factory where they make these trucks, the plant. And they make the tanks, and they make all of these armored vehicles. And I said, these people are amazing. You could never close this. You could never reopen it again. They've been doing this for many, many decades. And this factory was incredible. And I looked at the tanks they're making. They're the best in the world, right? The Abrams, they're the best in the world. I said, wait a minute. If you close this, we're not going to be able, where are you going to build tanks? This is the primary factory in the whole country. I think it might be the only factory in the whole country. So they're going to close it. What are we going to do? Send over to China for tanks? Please send us. Please send us 200 tanks. We don't want to send you any tanks because we're going to kick your ass. No. We got to make our own tanks, right? We got to make our own tanks. So I did something based on my instinct, because instinct sometimes works better than anything else. Based on my instinct, I said, you can't close this plant. I went through that plant. I spent 2-3 hours talking to the people that worked there. I looked at some of that hydraulic, and I love the whole thing, the world of tractors and all of that stuff. I know a lot about it. And I looked at the carvings, I looked at the metal, I looked at how perfect everything was, the turrets, the round, how perfect it fit. They put it on, it would fit like within 1/100th of an inch. And I said, you're not going to be able to do this anyplace else. I said, and we're going to be expanding our military. We're going to be rebuilding. Who the hell's going to make our tanks if you close it? I said, keep it open. It was all closed. Does anybody from Lima, is that a true story? All right? Right? It was closed. They announced it was closed. It was all set to close. I said, you can't close this plant. And now look, the numbers I just gave you. We're making almost 500 tanks. You could have never reopened a place like that. It's incredible. And you could have never gotten those workers. They are really skilled people. And if you did, it would have cost you billions and billions of dollars to do it. It wouldn't have been as good as what you have. So that was something I did that I'm very proud of, because I really overrode a lot of talented people that wanted to close it. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And we further recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. 52 years. For years you watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the great people of Ohio. Great. At stake in our present battle is the survival of the American nation. If you want your children to inherit the blessings that generations of Americans have fought and died for, and fought so hard to secure, then we must devote everything we have toward victory in 2020. We have to win. You know, we have to win. Because all of these things that we've done can be undone. And you can have a country that goes to hell very, very fast. Very, very fast. Only this way can we save the America that we love and drain the Washington swamp once and for all. And I have seen that dirty, rotten swamp better than anybody else in America. A lot of crooked people. Disgusting, crooked people. With your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration. We will enact trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, "Made in the USA." We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending the AIDS epidemic in America. Nobody knew that. Could have been done long before I got here. They had the technology. But we're ending the AIDS epidemic in America within 10 years. Isn't that amazing? Who would have thought that's possible? Who would have thought that's possible? We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one big, beautiful America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we will always live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." We stand on the shoulders of generations of Ohio patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. From Cleveland to Cincinnati, from Dublin to Dayton, and from Columbus to Toledo, this state is the home of proud families and farmers and miners and manufacturers and aviators and astronauts. Ohio is where the Wright brothers invented the airplane and where Annie Oakley got her gun. Ohio is the state that gave us American legends and American heroes like Thomas Edison, Neil Armstrong, and the great John Glenn. Ohio is the place where strong American workers mine coal, worked the railroads, and forged the steel that made America into the greatest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. And we are making it greater than ever before. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before. And ladies and gentlemen of Ohio, the best is yet to come. Because together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Toledo. Thank you.